Liam Hawthorne wiped sweat from his weathered brow as he drove his beat-up pickup down the winding country road. The autumn sun cast golden light across the rolling hills of Oak Ridge Valley, where Liam had worked his modest farm for over 30 years. Life hadn't been easy since his wife Abigail passed, but tending to his crops and few animals gave him purpose. As he rounded the bend near Westfield Estate, an enormous property owned by millionaire Vincent Mercer, something caught his eye. A thin chestnut horse stood trembling against the fence line, its ribs visible and coat dull. Liam pulled over immediately, his heart clenching at the animal's condition. "Hey there, fella," he murmured, approaching slowly. The horse's eyes, though clouded with age, held a gentle intelligence. A worn leather halter bore a small brass nameplate, Thunderbolt. Liam recognized the horse. Thunderbolt had once been Mercer's prized thoroughbred, a champion racer who'd earned the millionaire millions. But that was years ago. When Liam touched the horse's neck, he found sores from neglect and malnutrition. Rage boiled inside him. He'd heard rumors that Mercer had been liquidating his stable, keeping only the youngest, most profitable horses. Without hesitation, Liam opened the trailer attached to his truck. "Come on, old boy," he coaxed. "You deserve better." Back at his farm, Liam settled Thunderbolt in a clean stall with fresh hay and water. He called his daughter Maeve, a veterinarian, in the next county. "Dad, that horse is at least 25, Maeve said after examining Thunderbolt the next morning. "Most thoroughbreds don't live past 30, and with his condition," she sighed, "it'll take a miracle and a lot of care to bring him back." "Then that's what we'll give him," Liam replied firmly. That night, as Liam checked on Thunderbolt last time he made a promise. "You'll never be thrown away again," he whispered, stroking the horse's muzzle. Thunderbolt leaned into his touch, and in that moment, a bond formed between the forgotten champion and the solitary farmer, both entering the twilight of their lives, both with so much still to give. Within weeks, Thunderbolt began showing signs of improvement. Liam's patient care, brushing the horse daily, providing special senior feed, and walking him gently around the pasture, was working wonders. The old horse's coat regained some shine, and his eyes brightened with new life. One crisp morning, while Liam mucked out the stable, a sleek black SUV roared up his driveway. Vincent Mercer himself stepped out, his Italian loafers immediately sullied by the farm mud. "Hawthorne," Mercer called, not bothering with pleasantries. "I understand you've taken my property." Liam leaned on his pitchfork. "You mean the horse. You left to starve by the fence line?" "Thunderbolt is registered to Westfield Stables. My stable manager informed me he went missing." Mercer's cold eyes narrowed. "I've come to collect him." "For what purpose? He's old, can't race anymore." "That's none of your concern. I've brought papers proving ownership." Mercer waved a folder. "Return him now, or I'll have you arrested for theft." As if sensing the tension, Thunderbolt whinnied from his stall. Liam stood his ground. "That horse was abandoned, neglected. I saved his life." "Sentimentality is a luxury, Hawthorne. One you can't afford." Mercer smirked. "I have plans for him. A buyer in Europe pays well for thoroughbred bloodlines. No questions asked." The implication turned Liam's blood cold. Thunderbolt would be sold for slaughter, his remaining worth measured in meat rather than legacy. "Get off my property," Liam said quietly. "You have 3 days to return my horse, or my lawyers will destroy what little you have left." Mercer turned sharply and departed in a spray of gravel. That evening, Liam called his son, Rowan, an attorney in the city. After explaining the situation, Rowan promised to look into animal abandonment laws but warned that the case could be difficult against someone with Mercer's resources. Later, sitting on a hay bale beside Thunderbolt, Liam contemplated how quickly his simple act of compassion had spiraled into a battle he might not be able to win. The old horse nudged his shoulder gently. "We'll figure this out," Liam promised, though his voice wavered with uncertainty. Somehow, word spread quickly through Oak Ridge Valley about the standoff between Liam and Mercer. By the second day, local news vans parked outside the modest farmhouse. Journalists eager for a David versus Goliath story approached Liam for interviews, which he reluctantly gave, hoping public pressure might help his cause. "I'm not looking for trouble," Liam told a reporter while Thunderbolt grazed peacefully behind them. "But that horse deserves dignity in his final years." The story went viral overnight. Social media exploded with "Danarang Save Thunderbolt" hashtags and shared images of the once great racehorse now recovering at Liam's farm. Animal welfare groups rallied, offering legal support and fundraising for Thunderbolt's care. Meanwhile, Rowan discovered something crucial. Vincent Mercer's stable was under investigation for multiple violations of animal welfare regulations. Several ex-employees had come forward with allegations of mistreatment that went beyond Thunderbolt. On the third day, as Liam prepared for Mercer's threatened legal action, a different visitor arrived. Dr. Eleanor Blackwood, director of the Golden Pastures Equine Sanctuary, came bearing unexpected news. "I was Thunderbolt's first trainer," she explained, sitting at Liam's kitchen table. "When I heard what was happening, I found his original registration papers." She slid a folder across the table. "There's something Mercer doesn't want revealed." The papers showed that while Mercer had racing rights to Thunderbolt, actual ownership had been split between several investors in a syndicate. After Thunderbolt's racing career ended, full ownership should have transferred to the breeding syndicate, not Mercer personally. "Mercer has been claiming sole ownership for years," Eleanor explained. "He's been cutting corners, falsifying documents." Liam frowned. "But why come after Thunderbolt now? After abandoning him?" "The European buyer Mercer mentioned is real, but it's not about slaughter," Eleanor said grimly. "It's about DNA. Thunderbolt's bloodline is exceptional. They want genetic material to create cloned racing prospects, a practice that's illegal in most legitimate racing jurisdictions." Just then, Maeve burst through the door. "Dad, Mercer's men are at the farm gate with transport and legal papers." Liam stood quickly. "Call Rowan. Tell him to bring those investigators immediately." He turned to Eleanor. "Are you willing to testify about these ownership discrepancies?" She nodded firmly. "I've been waiting years to expose Mercer's operation." As they rushed outside, Liam realized this had become about much more than saving one old horse. It was about standing up against the corrupt power that treated living beings as disposable commodities. The confrontation at the farm gate had all the tension of an old Western standoff. Mercer's legal team and transporters faced a growing crowd of local supporters who'd gathered to form a human chain around Liam's property. News cameras captured everything. When Mercer himself arrived, his usual composure cracked at the sight of the media presence. "This is absurd," he snapped. "Clear these people out. I have legal documentation and a court order." The sheriff, a longtime local named Marshall Jenkins, approached with the papers. "Mr. Hawthorne, I'm afraid I need to enforce this order to relinquish the horse." Rowan stepped forward. "Before you do, Sheriff, you should know that representatives from the State Agricultural Department and Animal Welfare Division are on their way. They have questions about Mr. Mercer's entire equine operation." As if on cue, official vehicles pulled in. Among them was Dr. Olivia Patel, the state's chief veterinary inspector. "Mr. Mercer," she addressed him directly, "we've received multiple reports regarding animals under your care. Additionally, we've been presented with evidence suggesting falsified ownership documentation." Mercer's face reddened. "This is harassment. My attorneys will—" "Your attorneys will be busy," interrupted a stern-looking woman who introduced herself as Special Agent Constance Rivera from the Financial Crimes Division. "We're also investigating allegations of insurance fraud related to your equine investments." The crowd murmured as Mercer's composure completely dissolved. He jabbed a finger toward Liam. "This is your doing. One worthless old horse, and you create this circus?" "No, Vincent," Eleanor stepped forward. "This is the consequence of years of putting profit above welfare. That worthless old horse earned you millions, and you left him to die when he couldn't earn more." As officials huddled with the sheriff reviewing documents, Thunderbolt appeared at the pasture fence, watching the commotion with curious eyes. His improved condition was evident to everyone. His coat gleamed with health, his stance stronger. Marshall Jenkins finally approached Liam. "The ownership situation is complicated. Until it's resolved, The court has appointed a neutral third party to determine the best placement for the animal's welfare. Dr. Patel conducted an immediate assessment of Thunderbolt. Based on what I'm seeing, she announced, the horse is receiving excellent care here. He should remain in place pending further legal determination. Mercer stormed off, followed by his bewildered legal team. As the crowd cheered, Liam felt both relief and trepidation. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. That evening, as the excitement died down, Liam received an unexpected call from Philip Montgomery, one of the original syndicate investors Dr. Blackwood had mentioned. "I heard what happened today," Montgomery said, "and I think I can help make this permanent." Spring arrived at Hawthorne Farm, bringing renewal to the land and its inhabitants. 6 months had passed since the confrontation at the farm gate, and much had changed. Vincent Mercer now faced multiple indictments for fraud, tax evasion, and animal cruelty. His empire was crumbling as investigators uncovered years of illegal activities. The stable's remaining horses had been placed with reputable sanctuaries and adoptive homes. Philip Montgomery had rallied the original syndicate members, and together, they legally transferred Thunderbolt's ownership to Liam, with one condition that Liam had happily accepted. On this particular morning, a yellow school bus rumbled up the driveway. Children's excited faces pressed against windows as the bus parked beside a new sign. Thunderbolt's Haven, Equine Therapy and Education Center. Liam, now wearing a clean flannel shirt instead of his usual work clothes, greeted the children, alongside Maeve and Eleanor, who had become a regular presence at the farm. "Welcome to Thunderbolt's Haven," Liam announced to the group of children with various disabilities. "Today you'll meet a very special horse who has a lot to teach us about courage and second chances." In the freshly painted barn, Thunderbolt stood majestically in a spacious stall. Though still showing signs of his age, the old champion carried himself with dignity. The transformation of both horse and farm had been remarkable, funded by the syndicate's endowment and community donations that had poured in after Thunderbolt's story made national headlines. A small girl in a wheelchair approached Thunderbolt first. The horse lowered his head gently to her outstretched hand, displaying the intuitive gentleness that had made him a natural therapy animal. "He knows when someone needs extra love," Liam explained to the children's caretakers. "It's like he's repaying the kindness he received." Later that afternoon, as the last visitors departed, Liam sat on the porch with Rowan and Maeve. The farm had become a family endeavor again, with both children regularly returning to help with the growing operation. "Did you ever imagine one act of kindness would lead to all this?" Maeve asked, gesturing toward the new therapeutic riding arena where Eleanor was working with another rescued horse. Liam shook his head. "I just couldn't leave him there. Didn't think beyond getting him fed and comfortable." "That's why it worked," Rowan said. "You didn't have an angle or agenda. You just did what was right." From his pasture, Thunderbolt nickered softly, as if agreeing. The old horse who had once been discarded had become the heart of a place where healing happened daily, for animals and humans alike. A reporter had recently asked Liam if he felt vindicated by Mercer's downfall. His answer had been simple. "This was never about bringing someone down. It was about lifting something up." As sunset painted the farm in golden light, Liam walked out to give Thunderbolt his evening apple, a ritual they both cherished. The champion who had once raced for roaring crowds now found purpose in gentle connections with wounded souls. And Liam, once alone with his grief, now stood at the center of a community bound together by compassion. "We saved each other, didn't we, old friend?" Liam whispered, stroking the white star on Thunderbolt's forehead. The horse's soft nicker was all the answer he needed.